Hi everyone, Mandy-Jane from Imagination Crafts. Welcome to my Sunday night live with Imagination Crafts. I apologise for not being here for the last 2 weeks, but I've been extremely busy and we've got a really busy time coming up. But this weekend just gone, I was up with Sue and the team and all the design team and all the helpers from Crafters Companion at their Craftaganza up in Newton Aycliffe. It was a fabulous weekend. We had demonstrators come over from Holland, the lovely Marianne. Hi, Marianne. We had a lovely Colleen over from America who does our social media over there. So hi, Colleen. It was fabulous. The craft companion really looked after us well. Me, Sue and lovely Sarah Lou had a fabulous time for our crafters in the store. We hope that everyone attended enjoyed themselves, and we hope we've booked ready for next year. I think everyone's really booked because it's just a really good weekend. It was such a fun. And if you go onto the I think it's on Crafters Companion, it might be on the Craftaganza page, you'll see a fabulous speech by our Sue about her life story. It's really interesting, and especially the bit where she actually put her bunny ears on because she used to be a bunny girl, believe it or not. And yeah, so we all had a picture taken of bunny ears. So if you see out these photographs out there with us wearing bunny ears, no, we haven't changed jobs. We'll just pinch them while she wasn't looking, to be honest. So we had great fun. So thanks everyone. Thank you to all the crafters who came. It was an amazing weekend, and I hope to be doing it again next year, hopefully. Anyway, on to today. I'm just going to met these things. Hi, Brenda. So thanks for all joining me. I'm going to try and get up on my screen over here, but as you know, I'm not very techy, and if I can get up there, it'd be a miracle. To see if I can get your comments on here. I will try and address the comments, but if not, I will come back to them later on, okay? So today, I'm just going to try and click on here. So I would like to see your comments as we're going along. It would be nice to see what's happening, so I can keep an eye on things for you. Let me just go to the page. I'll try it the once. If I can't get it the once, I will come out and we'll get on with it. Today, I am going to be playing with our Starlights, our Sparkle Medium as well. Let's see if I can get this up here on here. And we're going to play with gorgeous stamps. These are really fabulous stamps. I'm so looking forward to using these. And our Parisian range. Some of you may have had them on our last show, but they're gorgeous. I'll talk about them as we go on, okay? Oh, I think I got it. Oh, I can see. There we go. Hopefully the sound is off. Sound is off. I don't want to hear myself talk. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to see your comments there. But bear with me because I'm not the brightest when it comes to techie. So I'm sorry, I got to admit to it. I really am not. So let's have a look what we're doing. So today I thought we'd do something that was ideally suited for those who are starting to dabble in for the first time into a bit of mixed media. Maybe those that are new to stamping, maybe those that are new to it altogether. But I thought we'd go with a little project that as a beginner is totally achievable. And then if you're more advanced, you can think of all the different things you can do with it, with the products, with our products that you have at home. So you can add in your gorgeous artsy stones and all the products, all the texture paste. So you can play a bit, but I've gone for hopefully some beginners will be interested in doing this as well, okay? So, I'm going to move my coffee. I've got my coffee as well. Can't go without my coffee. A cup of coffee is full of ideas, and I'm hoping to give me some more as we go along. So what we're doing today, we are going to be working on this. And I'm sorry about shadows again, my lighting is rubbish. So we're going to be working on this lovely little 8x10 canvas. Okay, so we are working with our beautiful, you see how soft, that's Starlights, but we've used that and we've softened it down. And I'm going to show you how we did that. So we've got this lovely little moon scene going on. If I put it down like that, I've got to be using our stamps to do the stamping to create our background detail. We've got stamps up here where we're stamping just to create our mid layers. We've got our beautiful Eiffel Tower here, which is gorgeous, and we're stamping a reflection. Got a lovely little deal. We've got postcard stamps here. I've even attempted, and I say attempted because I'm not an artist, and Sue always tells me I can't draw, but I attempt to do a couple of trees for you. So don't laugh at them too much, or if you do, don't choke on your coffee while you're doing it. Okay, and we've got, and as beautiful stencils going on, and I don't know if you can see it, we have got some sparkle from our Sparkle Medium there, okay? But I've mixed the colours. So again, I want to show you how you can work the products. You can mix some other stuff. You don't have to use them as they are, because we like, as a company, Imagination Crafts, and Sue is a big believer in this, that we like our products to do more than one thing. We like them to work with everything. We like them to be able to use them with all your other products as well. So we like them to have multi-use, and that's what we love about these paint products, okay? So I'll show you what we're going to be using. So first of all, I'm going to show you the colours we're using. They look quite bright here, but once we add in our gesso, we're going to make them down to matte colours, okay? So I'm going to now pop the camera down so you can see this better. You don't want to see me. So I'm going to put my seers on. Oh, there I am, okay? And I'm going to pop it down and we'll get going and look at the colours for you, okay? So bear with me 2 seconds. And down we go, down we go, down we go, down we go. I'm hoping you can see there, okay? My camera, not very straight, I don't think, but there you go. Okay, so the colours we're working with. I love these. You know I'm a blue and green girl, so the first couple of colours are going to be blue and green. So we are going with our Mediterranean sky. Oh, hiya Lillian, glad you got on here. Hope you had last thing. Hi Jackie, thank you all for joining me. It's fabulous to have you here. I've got here the apple green, but if you've got the kiwi green, fabulous colour as well. And then I've got one of my favourites. I have got my Cinnabar Gold, which is a rich, deep orange colour with gold running through it. It is gorgeous. But of course, the time we finish is not going to be these colours because we are going to make them matte. And I'll show you after. What we're also going to be using, okay, is you're going to need your gesso. I'm sorry it's back to front. It's just the way the camera films it. So I've got white gesso from our gesso. Now this is a really high quality, thick gesso. It's more like a heavy body gesso. But you'll see after what I've done is I've used this and added water to it to make it thinner. So again, we can adjust the texture, the consistency of it. I've also got twice, so good I named it twice, topaz as well in the colours. We can use that for the stamping to give us some detail. What else did we use? Oh yes, of course. Where would I be about my sparkle medium? So we have got 2 colours here. I have got a ruby gold. And I've got a turquoise. Let me just show you the sides of those. Aren't they gorgeous? But when you mix them together, it becomes quite a vintagey look, and I love that. So again, we like to mix all our products together. So we're going to be using those. So that's some detail. Where would it be about my Starlight Wax? So I've got some black Starlight Wax we're going to use later on. Okay. And this is what I love to show you. These are the stamps. We've got a vintage postcard here. Look at these. This is the details. So we've got the beautiful Eiffel Tower. We've got florals in here. So I'm not on them at the moment because I've taken them off. We've got beautiful background details. This is a repeatable pattern, so you can create all sorts of patterns with this on your canvas. This beautiful edging, again, it can make a beautiful frame. It can make a fancy lamppost, turn it up this way, and that part of it can make a closed, hang a dress on. So much you can do with it, and with your stamps, you've got your little scissors. Then when I go on to the next set, ooh la la, there you go. We have got this gorgeous dress form. We can be used in so many ways. We've got a beautiful scent bottle. Where would it be about our butterflies and our flowers? Add our finishing touches. And this beautiful says from the art studio off, and then you can put this on the back of your project on the front and you can sign it. So it's a good way of marking your project. And we've got this beautiful stamped frame here too. Really, really nice. But someone did ask me about the stamps before, what size they were. If I can just give you a rough idea, this dress form, okay, it's almost 5 inches tall by 2 inches wide. And the Eiffel Tower is about, let's have a look now. About 4.5, and the maximum there is 2 inches. So a nice size stamp for your projects. Make a beautiful centerpiece on your cards as well as on your canvases. Okay. But we're going to use it stamped quite lightly because that's the style of the project I'm doing. But when you do stamp, I just want to show you. I've stamped this with VersaFine, and look how beautifully crisp and clear that stamp is. It really is a lovely dark image. So it's really useful. You can cut them out, use them as embellishments, use them in your background. Great for your projects. Okay, so I'm going to move my coffee to one side and we're going to get off started. Okay, so here we have just a normal white canvas, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our paints, and I'm going to take a little of each onto my mat. Okay, I don't need a lot, but what we're going to do now is we're going to create our lovely matte colours. So we're going to make these matte for you. Okay. Oh, what a fantastic idea there, Brenda. Brenda said that she used a sparkle medium crystal ice on top of black gesso, and the crystal ice, it went blue. Right, what it is, you can actually, you know, your crystal cracked ice, okay, and things, because of the colours and the pigments, if it goes on to a wet colour, I'm not sure if it's answering it, Brenda, we'll come back to you, it can absorb the colour from underneath while it's wet. So the crystal, you know, the cracked ice, what I tend to do is I use my ink sprays and colour it anyway. So I'll put a little bit of ink down on my mat, put my cracked ice on top, and mix it around, let it dry, and I've got coloured cracked ice, but you still get the shine, but you get the colour. But I will come back to you, Brenda. I will PM you that answer for you, okay, later on. So we've got our blue, we've got our green, and now I'm going for the Cinnabar Gold. Okay, so I'll pop a little bit onto my glass mat here. And I'm cleaning my tool in between each one because I don't want to contaminate. Now in this tub here, what I've got is I've got the gesso, but I have watered it down a little bit. Not a lot, I just wanted it a little softer for us to be able to paint with. Okay, so I'm going to pop a little bit of the white gesso and I'm going to mix that with my first colour with the blue. Okay, because I'm after a soft tone background. So we are creating a rainbow, soft rainbow background on this project. Okay, so there we go. So I mix a beautiful blue there. Okay, so you can see beautiful blue. Again, if you want it bluer, add a little bit more paint in, but I would rather add too little paint than have too much. Otherwise you make too much paint and you waste your product. Okay, so again, I'm just mixing that gesso. I've added a little bit of water too because ours is so thick and creamy. Okay, there we go. Again, cleaning my tool in between. She says, getting paint everywhere. You know me. A little bit more gesso then into my Cinnabar Gold. And the Cinnabar Gold is quite a rich colour, so I'll probably end up adding more gesso into this than the others because it's such a dark, rich colour. Okay. But I will be adding gesso as we go along, and I'll tell you why, what you can do if your colour's too strong when you put it onto your canvas. And we're going to blend it actually on the canvas. Okay. So we've mixed up our colours now. There we go. So I hope you can see what we're doing. Okay. So I've mixed up these three colours here. Now these colours, can you see the difference now from what they were? You can see how bright they were to what we've got them now. Okay, and that's what I want to show you, is how many different combinations of the colours we can make with the one paint, just adding different mediums to it. Okay, we can add our translucent medium to it, our transparent relief paste, and you'll get a shiny paste of this colour. Really, really good. I will do that one day for you. So we've got our canvas. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of brushes. There we go. And now I'm going to start applying the paint on the canvas. Now when I'm applying the paint for this, I'm working from corner to corner. So I'm applying my colour in bands running from outer corner to the centre. Okay. So I'm going to start with the blue. And it's really, all you're going to do is apply the blue. And I'm going to come down to this corner. I'm applying from both sides, okay? And then what I do is, once I got not a lot of paint left on my brush, I would just come across the edge and start smoothing it out, because I want to work it into, oops, the next band of colour, okay? So I get a bit of tissue. Oh no, I've got my paint mate here. I'll use my paint mate. Oops. Okay, so I'm just blending that colour in. Then what we're going to do, I like to work with all the paint still wet. I'm going to take the green, some of the green, I'm using the same brush because I've wiped it off and they're quite light colours. Some of the green now, and I'm going to start my next band of colour. So again, I'm not worrying about too much about the joins. I just, once I've got less paint on my brush, I will join in the other colours. Okay, it's hard to see there, but because of my lighting, okay, but you've got the green there. Again, I'm coming down to here, I'm bringing this in, and you can see it's really, really easy. So most of my paint is there, and then I will blend it out, and I'll come back and I'll gently blend that into the blue band as well. Okay, I do have one ready dried for you. I just wanted to show you the application. Okay, so that is what we have. I'll put that way, you might see it better. What we have now with the bands of colour. Now the third colour is the one that's going to look the darkest. So what I do is, I have my gesso to hand, and I will apply this colour, okay, and I will sort of dry brush it. So I'll take something off on a piece of cloth or on a bit of towel, and I will start in the middle here, okay, but what I'll do, I'll take a little bit of gesso and I will start blending that in to create a soft blend. So it's a little bit of the colour, it goes a long way. This colour is very highly pigmented. Little bit of gesso, and I blend it on the canvas. Okay, and I'm just going to blend that really softly into the other colour. I'm just trying to get a nice blend of colour across it, but don't worry if it doesn't blend in completely. But you can see I'm just blending it out now onto the colours. So I'm hoping, and this actually has, sorry about that, this actually has a slight glitter to it, so it has actually got that shine in it, but because we mattify it down, it just gives you a shimmer rather than a blast or a starlight flash. So it's just another way to use it. Okay, so hoping you can see the colour. I mean, it is quite light on here and my lights aren't brilliant. So we're going to let that dry. Okay, so give that a quick dry. Okay, so just give that a really quick dry. I'm only going to dry it in the areas I need it dry in the moment, because we're going to add in the moon now. Okay, so we're going to do our moon reflection. Okay, so I just need these areas to be dry really quickly. That's fine. There we go. Almost dry. There we go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm taking my sparkle medium, so my sparkle and a pencil. I'm going to draw the moon in. I tell you, I always use what's available. No special die cut, no nothing. I'm just going to draw around this pot to get my moon shape. Try and keep it as light as you can. I'm doing it slightly darker than I would normally, just so you can see what I've done. Okay, so I've got the one circle there, and I come down and try and position it roughly in the same way, and try to go even lighter down this end. Okay, but I'm just doing it darker so you can see what's happening. Okay, so now we have our two circles. Okay, you bear me 2 seconds. I'll tell you, I'm going to switch this light off and see if it's any better. Okay, hold on 2 seconds. I don't know if that's any better. Can we see the colour any better on that now? Just waiting for you. Just let me know if you can see the colour. Hi Jen, hello, hiya. I just want to see if you can see the light colour better. Okay. Not really, can you? I'm going to put the light back on again. Sorry. I'm working on my own, see, I need someone to supervise me while I'm doing this. I really do. The colour didn't work very well. Anyway, okay, we're going. So, we've done the colour and we've done the moon. So what you're going to do next is you're going to get a paintbrush and we're going to use a gesso. Okay, simple as that. So we're going to apply, there we go, okay, the gesso. So this one at the top, we're going to have whiter. Okay, so you're going to paint this really neatly, unlike mine. Depending on which gesso you use, I'm still using my watered down one because I've still got plenty left. If you use it straight from the pot, you do it in one coat. If you're using it from here, when it's watered down one, I would use 2 coats probably, okay? So I'm just going to turn it round. Okay. So you take your time with this, get your circle round. Because I can't draw things. And I'm not very good at following lines either, so my moons are all a bit haphazard. They're more ovals than circles, but it works for me. Okay. So you go around until you've covered up your pencil line on the top one. Okay. Now on the one at the bottom, I would take off some of the paint, start at the centre until you can see how much paint you've got on your brush. And what you want to do is you come up to your circle. Again, you want to come up to your line. Okay. Put a bit more there, don't take off too much paint. But you're going to need a baby white to hand for this one. Okay. I'll show you why now. Because as we put the colour on, sorry, the light is terrible in here, it's the same. Right, there we go. There we go. I'll be so glad when I get back in my craft room. So although the light's not great up there, the lighting looks better up there because there's this different, it's a smaller room, it's got less area to spread the light around. So, but I'm afraid that won't be till after Christmas because I can't get into it at the moment. So you're just going to add the colour in, or the gesso, sorry, around your moon. Okay. So you'll cover all your pencil line. But what you want to do is you want this moon to be lighter than your top moon. So that's when you take your baby wipe, okay, and you're going to dab out some of the colour in the centre. Because this, after all, this is a reflection. So we don't want this as dark. But you would rub away your pencil line. You can rub away the pencil line before you paint it. And that way before you get to the edge, and that way you won't have a line. But I tend to just paint over it or take a white gel pen around the edges. Okay, so you are literally just taking the paint off with your baby wipe until you get a lighter version of the moon. Okay, so we're after a nice deep white there, and we're after a nice light white there. Okay, so then you're going to let that dry before we start doing some stamping. Lucky enough, ta-da, that's what I did earlier. So we're dry and we're ready to go on that. Okay, there we go. What I do is if I've done this with the paint, I will use this again. So what I've done, I get little pots, and I don't waste paint. You know, we never want to waste in the paint. So I put it into pots and I put cling film over it because I don't have any posh opening pots. If you've got screw pots, then fantastic. Whoops, a daisy. Got Gesso on there now. So I'm just going to pop this paint into my little tubs, and then I will use that on another project this week. There we go. Okay, so we've used that. I'm just going to give that a quick wipe so I don't put my elbow in it. Okay. There we go. I'm a messy worker. There you go. So we can wipe that down very quickly. That'll do. So here's our canvas that we're going to start stamping on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on our first stamping. Okay. So I'm taking the Eiffel Tower stamp onto a block. Okay, so we've got this onto a block, and I'm going to use VersaFine ink. So I'm using nice black ink. Okay, and I'm just stamping up until it's covered, and I will wipe away the excess. Okay, I don't want that stamped onto my canvas. Okay, and then I wish myself luck when I'm stamping live. Okay. Now I'm not going for a complete black image like we had on this card, because it's onto canvas, you can get it textured anyway. So I'm just going to turn this now because I can't really stamp when I'm at that angle. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this stamp close to the top, pop it on, and I'll try not to, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to try not to do what I did earlier on. When I come to the second bit, I dropped the stamp and I spent the next half hour trying to sort it out ready for you, thinking I can't do it again, I haven't got enough time. So there is ways around. I just use more paint. Okay, so just going to pull that off. As you can see, you get a beautiful image and you get the lovely texture coming through from the canvas, and it actually looks like you've got light bits on it as well. It's got a bit of paint on there. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the shadow. Now we're going to ink up the stamp again and use the back of this time, but we don't want to. I'm inking it up again, lots of light tapping each way round. If you've got a big pad or a big stamp, do it both ways, and that way you won't get any marks from your stamp pad on there. Okay, but this time what we want to do is, I don't want the full image, so I'm going to stamp it off once onto my card here, just lightly. Okay, onto my card there, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn my stamp up the other way. I'm going to line up the feet as best I can, pop it on, and this is the way I dropped it last time. So let's see what we got here now. So I'm just going, because I just want an outline really, you know, I'm not too worried about too much detail coming through because most of this is going to be covered. It's just to get that shadow. Okay, so when we lift that away now, slightly offline, we'll get there, we're painting. So now we've got our tower and we've got our reflection, because we're going to create a shoreline on this. Okay, so it's really, really easy to do. She says, I've put marks on this, no one. So let me just close my ink up for now, we don't want that. Okay, so we've done our tower, we've done our reflection. Now what I'm going to do is give that a quick dry, because I want to put in our line where the shore is going to be. And where I've just gone offline with this, I can use a pen to do that, but you're not going to notice it. Okay, VersaFine will dry on its own. I'm just speeding it up so I don't smear it for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, So what I normally do is I use the edge of a stencil. Okay, so I use the edge of the stencil, which we are going to use after. And hopefully I won't get any marks in it, but I won't be guaranteeing that. Because I'm a messy craft. I'll use a bit of white card, that might be easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn upside down 2 seconds. And I am going to put this across there. And knowing me with my eyesight, it's not going to be straight. You know me, everything's at a wonk. Oh, I've got wonky eyes. So if it's on a hill, it doesn't matter, we will fix it. There we go. We'll do it roughly there. Yeah, I'll be fine, she says. I can see it's on a hill already. There you go. Right, so what I'm going to do then is I've got a little paintbrush. Okay, just a little paintbrush here. And I've got some, there we go, black Starlight Wax. This is what I'm going to show you where you can actually paint with these. A little bit of water on my mat. There we go. I have a baby wipe handy and my paint mate on my lap. I don't have to spend anything. So I'm just taking a tiny bit of the wax out of the jar and adding a tiny bit of the water. Okay, but I'm taking off the excess on my baby wipe because I don't want it to be too dark. I'm just going to flip this round. Okay, so we've got this here. My water is going to be on a hill. Knowing my luck, it's going to be. Yeah. Wish me luck. Not on a hill. It might be. Okay. So I'm just going to use the brush along the edge of my card. But again, I don't want too much. Take a little bit off. And I'm just going to, because it doesn't matter if it's not straight, because it's just a shoreline. So we can add in the details as we go along. Okay. So you can do it with a paintbrush. You could put 2 pieces of paper either side of the line to create a line, or you could use the edge of a brayer wheel. If you get the ink right on the edge, you can actually roller all the way across your piece and you'll get a lovely shoreline. Okay, so we are just going across a piece of paper. My hand's shaking. Oh, she says. There you go, so just going across there. And we don't mind if it isn't completely straight, because when is a shoreline straight? It never is it? Okay. So, we are trying to create a shoreline running from side to side, okay? We will blend that in as we go as well, okay? So, if I take off some of my colour off my brush now, where I've slightly gone skew there, I can actually pull that colour and it'll be fine. And I'll match it there. It could be fine. Okay, so we've got our sort of a shoreline now. What I do now is I take a damp brush and I will soften that down a little. Okay, as if we're softening it into the water. And we will keep softening this as we go along when we add things, okay? So we're just softening that along. So it's nice and easy. See, nothing difficult so far. We're just going to soften that along and we're going to add in our detail, okay? So next thing we're going to do, she says, is we are going to try and draw some trees. This is the bit you have my permission to laugh your socks off whilst you're choking on your coffee. I don't mean choking on coffee, whilst drinking your coffee. You may choke on it once you see me trying to draw these trees. Let me wipe some more of this paint out. So again, I'm just using the wax. I don't know why I did that then. Cleared it up. Okay. So I'm just using the wax, okay? Get the tree up the right way. She said, I'm covered in paint, I've got marks everywhere, we will cover them. So just draw trees. Just draw, I mean, I cannot draw for toffee, so I just draw a line. And I just keep it simple because I got to do a reflection of it. So I just pretend they're trees. I have no, as you can tell by the way I draw, I have a childlike quality to my drawing. See, childlike, isn't it? So, then I'm going to take some paint off my brush now. And I'm just going to do a line again. And just pretend the tree's there. I mean, you haven't got to be exact. Who's going to really notice? Because we're not putting a lot of detail into it. You see, so No one's going to look at it too harshly, are they? Okay, that's a tree. So then we're going to do a smaller tree. I'm just trying to get something on the shoreline, that's all. So we'll do a shorter one, this one. This is more my sort of height. I'm not very tall. Okay, so we're just going to add some branches, taking it out. And we're thinking it's autumn because I can't draw leaves, so we're doing autumn in Paris. That way I haven't got to worry about the leaves. It's a bit of a cheat really, isn't it? But you could add your blossoms and things, couldn't you? So again, taking some of the paint off now, and I'm just going to do a shorter tree here and hope no one looks at any detail. That'll do fine, see? Tree. And because we like things in odd numbers, okay, and we do, and mine are very odd, I'm just going to add a sort of a bush type thing here. I say bush type thing because it looks more like a something out of one of these sci-fi programs, I think, really. But we'll just put that there along the shoreline. Because you have bushes, don't you, on the shoreline? Again, wet the brush down, and I'm just going to do a repeat of that in the water, but a lot lighter. Okay, and again, as we go, we're softening that shoreline. And then I think we'll put something along here, maybe another bushy thing, because they're easy to draw. So we're going what's the easiest for me, I'm afraid. Okay, it could be a rock, could be a bush, I don't know. But we'll go with something that just goes up like that. It could be a cloud that's fallen down. I don't know, I'm not very good. And then I'll just do one on the other side because we don't want 4 of one thing and not to have it even. So I'll just put another shape here. Okay, there you go. And it just gives us something on the shoreline. You know, I have, obviously, for those that have been to Paris, this isn't really Paris. Having never been myself, yes, shameful, isn't it? I've never been to Paris. But I'd like to think is how I'd imagine it. So that we've done. So far we've created, put the right way up for you. You created a little shore with a little reflection. Something really, really easy to do. What I'm going to do now is I got a gorgeous Paris stamp here, the word. It was postcard. I thought we'd use that. Okay. So I'm using the postcard stamp. There we go. There we go, there we go. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to use the versified ink because I want it nice and dark. So this hasn't got to be straight. This can be any direction you like. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to pop it. Ooh, what, should you have an angle? Have it there? No, have it there. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that down and try not to drop it like I did. So like I did earlier. It's a beautiful stamp. These stamps are photopolymer and they are the double depth stamps. So you get beautiful precision stamping. Great for on your cards or on your canvases. You get beautiful colouring. And it's great for stamping into things because of that double depth. So we get really clear images. So we've got that there now. I'm going to get a quick dry. So you can see my amazing artwork. Not. I told you I couldn't draw. But there you go. I expect Sarah Lou is laughing her socks off because obviously she's a wonderful artist. But I try. That's all I can say. I try. Which is better than not trying at all, isn't it? Right then, so what we're going to do now is we're going to stamp with our starlights. Okay, so we're starting now to do, we're going to work on our mid layers. And we like these for a little bit of shimmer in the background. So I'm going to take my gorgeous Mediterranean blue. Let me pop my brushes in the water before I forget. You can wipe that down, we don't want black in that. I'm going to take my palette knife. I'm going to add a little bit to my paint palette. Okay. There we go. Far too much. I'm just putting out so you can see it properly. Always clean your tools. Then what I'm going to do is I have a ink blending tool, okay, and a wet baby wipe. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this as my stamping tool. Okay, just bear with. I'm just swapping my stamps over. There we go. So this one now. Ooh, it's stuck onto something it shouldn't be. I'm going to use to stamp with. So there's a beautiful flower that comes from our sets. We're using this flower here. And I just want a really shimmery background. So I've got my stamp. I'm going to wipe it over the baby wipe. I'm going to damp my baby sponge, my blending tool. And then I'm picking up some of the Starlight, because we can stamp with the Starlight. So I'm picking it up and I'm using this now as my ink pad. Okay, so I'm gently tapping all over my stamp. And then what I'm going to do, let's see, where should we start? I think I'll start here. We're just adding some background detail. I'll stay sat down for this, so let's hope it goes on there. Okay, and you can you see that beautiful shimmer there in the background? But it's subtle, and that's what I'm after. I want some subtle detailing in the back, because it's just another layer. Okay, so again, I can pop something there, one there. I could use what's left of my ink over here. Okay, and then I'm just doing it again. I'm tapping lightly over my stamp, because I don't want to clog it up with paint. Okay, and then I may add in, oh, she says, ooh, yeah, I'll put one right in the middle. Okay, there you go, because we're just looking for detail. It doesn't have to be precise, we're just looking for that extra detail. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I need another one. I think I will go up here, because I haven't got one in this corner. Okay, so we just do that again. That is just for the background layers. Always clean your stamp off when you've done. Okay, it's just quicker and easier for you. Okay, so we've done that so far. So we've got some beautiful background stamping going on here now. But we're going to do a bit more of the background stamping now. Now I have got, probably not to see it, this gorgeous little detail stamp from the set. There's two, the lefty and a righty, but I'm using just the one. But this time I'm going to be using the topaz, so I'm changing my sponge over to a different colour, and I am taking a tiny bit of my topaz colour, which is a lovely dark bronzy colour. Same again though, baby wipe. Okay, so I'm taking the baby wipe and I'm smoothing this paint down. Okay, make sure that's nice and smooth, and I'm going to lightly tap over my detail part. I'm turning this round so you can see it. Okay, and then I can add in, I can start adding more detail to my background. It all builds together. You see that lovely bit of detail in there. So I'm going to ink it up again, and this time I'm going to turn it the other way, as if I'm making a pattern, like a wallpaper pattern. So I'm not worried about any little bits there, because it's a vintage piece. So again, I'm going to be stamping over a little bit to my flower. Okay, and we're just creating our outer details now on our canvas. Okay, it's like on this one here now, if you wanted to, because that's part of a design, you may want to add in the point of the next bit, but I'm going to leave that bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to the other side, and I'm just going over to the other corner, and it's going to be, let's have a look, probably slightly different in this corner. I can do what I like, it's my project. As I always say, it's your project, you can do what you like. So I'm going to turn it upside down, okay, and do a different sort of repeat on this side, just to show you how you can start pattern building with this gorgeous little stamp that is in the set. Okay, so we are pattern building now, so we're building little bits of edge of design. Okay, but I only want a little bit of design with that, but I think, having seen this now, a little bit of a gap there, I'm just going to come in with the tip of my design to make it look like it's a part of a repeat pattern. There you go. Again, clean the stamp down. Okay, so there we are, that's what we're getting so far. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around my edges now before I put on my Sparkle Me, to be my last. So I'm using the topaz again. All I'm going to do is I'm dragging it around the edges to cover those edges. Okay, so we're just dragging it, can you see, dragging it around these edges. I'm trying to keep my dirty fingers off everything, so I'm just dragging it around the edges. Okay, And this is what's going to frame our piece as well. Okay. There we go. So then what I do is I would take my baby wipe and I would take an awful lot of this paint off. Okay. But I want it damp still, because what I want to start doing is sort of blending it over the edges. So I'm using a combination of hardly any paint on my tool, okay, and just taking it over the edge to start building our frame. Okay, so I'm just literally taking it over the edge. You can take it as far over the edge as you like, but I just want to show you a little bit of a highlight around the edges. Okay. Oops, there's my paint mate. I wonder where my paint mate has gone then. I can't live without my paint mate on my lap. There we go. So I'm just going around, because I think it's still quite damp, this sponge, because I've been putting onto my baby wipe. So we're going around the edges, and we're just creating this little bit of a frame, because we are going to add in, there you go, because it's wet, so if I don't like it I can just wipe it back again. Okay, so what I'm going to do next now is we're going to, I'll take that away 2 seconds. There we go. So I'm going to do that. I want to add some sparkle to this now. All right, now I want to add some foil on the corner. Now this wax we can foil with, okay, but normally you'd use a piece of sponge to foil it, but I just want to use my finger. So I'm taking a little bit of my gorgeous turquoise sparkle medium, okay, and I'm rubbing it in the corners with my finger. I'm just rubbing that, so I get some gentle foiling in my corners. Okay, gentle foiling. But say you don't have to use your fingers, you can use a bit of cut and dry foam. Okay, and again I think I'll, yeah, let's give it a little bit of zing, isn't it? I love a bit of sparkle. And this sparkle medium, there's so much you can do with it. There's so many different surfaces you can put it on. We'll have a bit of sparkle around there, I think, as well. We will have a bit of sparkle. There we go. So again, I'm just foiling it. This time I'm foiling my finger. And I'm just rubbing away that glue that just leaves me with the sparkle around the edge. Okay. There we go. Just give that little bit of foiling. Okay. We just want a little bit around the edges. So a little bit more in that corner. Again, I'm buffing it, so I get rid of the glue, and I'm left then with a beautiful foiled edge. Okay. So we've got a lovely sparkle around the edge. I may go back with some more topaz after. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I can get the wipe my hands. I'm such a messy crafter. Okay, what I'm going to do next then, I'm going to do a quick little dry, so I don't put my hand in it. But it dries really quickly because obviously there's not a lot of glue left, so I've buffed it away. Right, there we go. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gorgeous stencil. Isn't it gorgeous? It's fabulous, isn't it? So we take this gorgeous stencil now, and we're going to use this on our panel to create some of our beautiful detail around. So what you do is I've taken some stick and spray, Cross and Pine stick and spray, and I've sprayed the back of my stencil. Let it dry for a few seconds, let the propellant dry off, okay? And then I'm going to add in the detail on here, okay? Because I can see where everything is underneath, I know where I'm putting it. So I want to use both of my sparkle mediums. So I've got my gorgeous ruby gold and I've got my turquoise, okay? I've got my palette knife, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, there you go, I'm going to just put a little bit of each out because I don't want to get one colour into the other outside of my pots, because I did do it earlier on and I want to scrape that out. So there you go. So I've got some of the turquoise, I've got some of the ruby gold on my mat, and I've got a spatula. Now a metal spatula is what is best to use. The plastic ones aren't much good for us, for our products, I'm afraid, because they're too thick, they're too flexible, and they tend to push the paste underneath the stencils. You want a good strong metal one, means you can put you can put some pressure down on it, it's not going to buckle, it's not going to bend, and you can get the paste exactly where you want it. You get a nice smooth application. So I'm taking a little bit of each of my sparkle mediums onto my spatula, and then all I'm going to do, I'm going to put a thin coat on. I'm keeping my knife really flat, okay, and I'm adding this colour, and again I'm taking a little bit of the ruby, a little bit of the blue at the same time, okay, and I'm just going to scrape it through, spread it through, a little bit more gold on that one, ruby gold, okay, so we're just spreading it around in the areas we want it. But I love mixing these two colours, they're beautifully mixed, they really are. And then I'm going to add a little bit down here, okay. I will hold it up for you, you can see the colours. And don't think it looks like a dog's dinner. You know how we love to play with our sparkle mediums and show you how you can use so many different colours on them at the same time to get really gorgeous effects. Okay, I'm even going to put a bit down here with my moon. Again, see, I'm only using little bits at a time, but I'm blending the two colours at the same time. A bit more blue down here, I think. There you go, tiny bit more blue. And we're going to put a tiny bit over here. There we go. Okay. So I'm not even going through the whole design. I'm only picking out bits and pieces of the design so we can get a little bit of sparkle here and there. It just adds that brilliant shimmer, okay. So when I take this away now, here we go. I'll pop that, you wash that when you're finished. So when I pop this away now, can you see how by blending those two colours together, you get that gorgeous vintagey look to your panel, okay. So what I could do now is I can go back in with my damp topaz, okay, there you go, and I can just add in a little bit more colour where I want it, around the edges, like that. Okay, there we go. Don't forget, and while it's wet, you can remove it. So I want to dab into those colours there in the corner. I like to do the corners because then it brings you into the project, yeah. So there we have a lovely little canvas, okay, where it's very, very simple if you want it to be, or you can keep adding layers, add on embellishments, whatever you want to do, add colour across the moon. You could add embossing powders to it and heat emboss this so it's glazed. But I just wanted to show you something really easy that as a beginner you could do, or if you're fresh into using Imagination products, that you could actually have a play as well. We've got such a range of products, but I love these Parisian style stamps, the two sets we have. I love this stencil. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It really is so pretty and it's vintage. I love it. And again, don't forget, you can stamp with your Starlights. You can foil with your sparkle medium. Okay. So you can play with your gesso, mix your paints into your gesso, get different looks. Okay. So that was the one we just done. This is the original. So we've got two choices. There you go. So you've got the original this side, and you've got the one we just done. You can see how easy that was to do. This one here, the only difference is I've got a bit of crackle on the moon here, and that is just by applying it thickly and heat drying it, and it automatically cracked, okay? So I hope, I'll get the camera back up for you. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you can do, think you can do, able to do that, which is really, really easy. So I'll just take you quickly back through the products again. Okay, so we've used our Starlight Paints. We've used our apple green, or you've got a kiwi if you want, Mediterranean sky, and our, I think it's called that, Zinnabar gold. I'm trying to hold them up without spinning them. Okay, we've got gorgeous colours there. We've used our gorgeous, I keep saying gorgeous today. My sister-in-law tells me off for saying fabulous, so I'm saying gorgeous. Okay, I can do two, look. Gorgeous, ruby, fabulous, sapphire, turquoise, lovely. We've also used our black wax. We painted with that, okay. And we've used our gesso. Again, we watered the gesso down to add into the paint to make it a softer consistency, and we coloured directly onto the canvas to lighten the colour as well. So, oh, and we've used our beautiful stencil, which I will go and wash as soon as we finish. Okay, use that beautiful stencil. And obviously we've used our brilliant stamp sets. Oops, we used both stamp sets. They're really, really fabulous, okay. So, If you want to make the project, you haven't got any of the products, please go to craftscompanion.co.uk. All the goodies are on their website if you want to have a look on there. We will be back. I'm back. I think I'm back next Sunday. I am. Okay. We're really, really busy prepping for shows. I'm back at Hochanda on the 29th, 30th for a fabulous one-day special. We've got some lovely new stencils. Maybe I'll give you a sneak peek next week. Okay. If Sue lets me, I'll give you a sneak peek next week. So we've got lots going on. I hope you've enjoyed it. I can tell my coffee now. Excuse me 2 seconds. Oh, it's cold now, but I drink cold coffee anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you get to have a play. Please, if you do make anything sim, please put it to our Facebook page. We love to see what you're making. And hopefully you'll join me next Sunday at 7, the usual time. I'll put a post up on Saturday to let you know what we're doing. Okay, so until then, hope you had a fabulous weekend. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Okay then, bye.